Welcome to Candlelit Blowjobs, an intimate experience between two cousins, Brandon
And Luis,
Sit back, light the candles.
and try some of those bath salts.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another special episode of Candlelit Blowjobs. As always,
a special episode.
As always, I am one of your hosts, not the only host, Brandon, and joining me is my lovely cousin Luis.
Of course. We have to have this intimate affair with both of us.
Yeah, so if you're, coming in for the first time or not, this is a special podcast that just my cousin and I do. It's more of an
Would you
intimate
say
affair.
it's intimate?
Yes, very intimate. And we just talk about one movie, show, whatever it is we're doing the episode on. So today, my cousin Lewis wanted to talk about, I don't know why.
Because, alright, so this movie gets a lot of shit.
We already talked about it though, but fuck it. This is a different show.
This movie gets a lot of shit, and we want to fix that, because, you gotta give movies credit where it's due. And this movie in particular, it's kind of this teeny bopper film and book series, and then they kind of made it into this ridiculous series afterwards. But the first film stands above all the others, in my opinion.
I will agree with you wholeheartedly on that statement that you just said.
And
for sure.
This film is kind of creepy when you look at it, but the way that this director, she handled it with care, she handled it beautifully, and the biggest thing of this film in particular, I think, is the music. The music is what stands above everything else. It makes this cheesy as fuck performance that both of these actors put down into something that's a little bit more. It gives them elegance. It gives them credit. And the film that we're talking about, because we haven't even fucking said what it's called, is Twilight. Yes. We're going to teeny bopper, shiny vampires, which should never exist. Yes.
Yeah, so we already reviewed this film on our other show, Man Bites Film, but because of what Lewis just said, he was like, let's talk about it on Candlelit Blowjobs, and I'm like, sure. I guess we're going to go more in depth of Twilight. So Twilight is the first of 4 books in the books, or first of 5 films in the Twilight saga.
The other films are not good. The other films are not good.
No, they are not. Nowhere near. This movie is like, I feel like so the director Catherine Hardwicke, I felt like she understood what Stephenie Meyer was going for with, when she wrote Twilight, like with who Edward is and who Bella is and all that stuff.
But not only that, this was a passion project of hers. She chose this film. She chose the script. The other directors were literally bought and paid for by studios. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're all guys too. They're all like hired guns. They're like, all right, here's a film. You're gonna direct this film because you're signed on to the studio for so many pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they went into. They had no passion for the project. They had no understanding of where the story could go. And granted, both of us have read the books. Yes, we're guys. We read the books.
Yes. Hey, Lewis read these books because of me.
Yes, I did.
So, I've talked about this on I think I talked about this on the episode of Man Bites Film, but fuck it, it's a new show, so I'll talk about it here. I was in high school. I was like a sophomore in high school when these books came out, and I remember vividly being in chemistry class, and a friend of mine, Katie, she sat behind me and she was reading the book, and I was like, "Hey, what is that?"
You're just trying to hit on the chick, it's for. Come on, man.
Sure, maybe.
On, man.
She was attractive, but
Come on, man.
Past that. Past trying to hit on Katie. One thing I will give Stephenie Meyer, or whoever decided what was on the cover of the books, I like the cover of the books.
Oh, they're elegant.
They're super elegant. They catch your eye like immediately.
Not only that, if you're a fan of Anne Rice, which is a way better version, it's like you have Harry Potter writing, and then you have Tolkien writing. That's Stephanie Meyer and Anne Rice.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even compare it because, like, for instance, J.K. Rowling is a much better author than Stephanie Meyer will ever be in her life.
Yeah,
Ever.
I'll give you that. All right, whatever.
I
had
whatever.
to do my quim though. I had to.
I know.
I had to do my stinger.
William, we're thinking about you even on the show always. So
Oh,
yeah, so I
God.
saw the.
Think about that.
What happened?
We're doing a candlelit blowjob between two cousins, and we're thinking about another guy.
Very true. That sounds like a very hot endeavor. So I saw the book, and I don't remember if I asked her what it was about or if I just like went and bought the book. I bought the first one, Twilight, of course, and I started reading it, and I was actually legitimately enjoying it. Fuck my dogs, they're barking.
Yeah, that's fine. They're agreeing with you.
True, very true. So I went and bought the book, and then I think I took it to your apartment at the time that you were living with your girlfriend at the time. And yeah, remember you were like, "Oh, let's have like a board game night at my place. You can sleep over."
Oh, yeah.
And I brought the book, and you were like, "What is that?" And I think I told you, and then next thing I know, Lewis is also reading the Twilight books. And I didn't know that you finished all of them. I finished all 4 books.
Yeah, I finished all 4. I finished all 4 within like a month.
Some of them were a slog, but
I didn't think so. The books move really quick. It's like what do you call it? Da Vinci Code. It was very quick paced. It was very like boom.
Dude, like the second book, holy moly, dude. The second book, New Moon, is fucking hot garbage in my opinion, other than like the ending part, like when she goes to Italy and she like when Edward goes to Italy to meet the Volturi or whatever, the League of Vampires. That's the only good part of New Moon. The entire book of New Moon is just Bella complaining because Edward has left. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill my dogs. Because he's left, and it's just this depression story, and she's like, I want to kill myself, and it's so slow and so boring. And
I don't know. I at least I don't remember it that way. But again, that's the thing, though. Was this your first introduction to vampires in a book?
Yeah. So I've seen
like Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, I've seen Interview with the Vampire. I've seen Queen of the Damned and all that stuff, but I've never actually read the Anne Rice novels.
I read the Anne Rice novels while they were coming out. So
Damn.
I was always like...
Isn't that series like super, super long?
It is. There's like about 20-something books, if I'm not mistaken.
Fuck that, man. That's like a book. That's like something that you want to get into, but then you're like, do I really want to?
Well,
like,
then again, when I was reading it, it was still coming out.
Yeah.
You know... I
mean, now, like in 2019, if you want to get into the Anne Rice like vampire novel series, you're like, oh, what is it, Vampire Lestat? You're like, I don't know about that.
Well, they have sections, so there's like 5-book series type of things, and those 5 books wrap up each other, pretty neatly.
Okay,
and then they just developed more and built more into the world. But it's a self-standing series,
I know this is like a little tidbit that doesn't have to deal with Twilight, but I've also read. Or sorry, I'm gonna get lynched for this. Like, someone's gonna be pissed when I say this, but I have attempted to read Dracula, like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, hell no. You better not.
I think the beginning of that book is godly.
What?
I think the beginning of that book, like when what's his name is in like the castle and he's like, I'm going crazy and all this shit. It's like it's incredible.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it just, for me personally, loses its way. It kind of gets boring.
It meanders.
Yeah, but like the beginning of that book is so interesting. It's like you feel like you're going crazy with isn't it Christopher? Is that the right name I'm thinking of?
I can't remember. But yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
So the guy in the beginning of Bram Stoker's Dracula, like when he goes to...
You're talking about the book.
Yeah. Okay. Not the movie, sorry.
Because the movie is amazing. It's a classic.
Yeah. So like when he like in the book, when he's like in the, like, it's like the first like 60 or 70 pages, like he's in the castle and, he's talking to Dracula and like Dracula's like, don't leave your room at night, so on and so forth. Like, it's super interesting because you're like, of course, as a reader, you know who Dracula is, but it's still really interesting that you're kind of going mad with this guy and you're kind of like asking yourself the same questions. But then after that, it's just, that's
So-
my.
I think I think where I give credit to Stephanie Meyer and the films itself is that it introduced a new generation to these vampire movies. So if these films didn't exist, we wouldn't have had the vampire craze that we had in the late 2000s. So like True Blood wouldn't have come out. All these other stories.
Well, actually, True Blood the books have been around since I think the 90s. I'll let you know right now, actually.
Yeah, but the films wouldn't. The show wouldn't have been made.
Oh yeah, for sure not. No, for sure.
So
for sure.
it sparked the interest of this, and then people that grew up with the Twilight series, they were young teeny boppers. Then by the time they got to the what do you call it, True Blood era, those were older teenagers, adults, and then from there, those people that really grew a passion went back to the Anne Rice novels.
Yeah.
And that's where you saw gold. These were classic novels. Like, granted, out of the 20 or so novels, there's about 5 really strong novels in there.
I'm assuming Interview with a Vampire is one of them.
I actually don't like that book that much.
Really?
Believe it or not. That it's a very popular opinion, but I don't enjoy that book as much as the movie itself. I enjoy the hell out of that movie. That movie was amazing.
That
But
movie's
then
very
again, that one I never read when it came out because I
Mm.
think that was when I started reading the series, and I couldn't get my hands on the book. So yeah, I think that's cool because it introduced the vampire movies to a lot of people, and that's where I give a lot of props to this film.
Holy shit, Interview with the Vampire is super old. That book came out in 76. I did not know that. Wow. Okay, yeah, so let's go back to Twilight, but whatever. This is a show. If you want us to, like, actually sit and, like, I feel we're
talking about the movie in general, and
Candlelit BlowJobs is more of a, like, it's not as, like, close knit. It's not as like tight as some of our other shows. It's kind of like we just talk and we have fun, and we might go off on like little tangents and whatnot.
Oh hell yeah. But honestly, like I really enjoyed this movie. The movie itself, it has good pacing. It has good characters. The characters are well done. Now, granted, the acting on the part of what's her face is
Kristen Stewart.
Fucking awful. Yes, I can't stand her as an actress though.
Even now.
I really don't. Like, I think there's one film, I think it's called Adventureland. Was that one?
The one with Jesse Eisenberg?
Yes. That's with her too, right?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
That's the one with the theme park, right?
Yeah. That's the theme park one. That's the only movie I could stand of her, but she's still playing the same person. It's a good enough movie that it kind of takes over her ridiculous character.
I totally had forgotten that she was a little girl, but she's in the movie Panic Room.
Yeah.
She's Jodie Foster's daughter in that movie.
And she still doesn't know how to act.
So Twilight, going back to Catherine Hardwicke, the director of the first movie of Twilight, I feel like she not only understands who Bella and Edward are, but she also understands how Forks should look. Because I feel like the other directors just lose that shit, dude. Like in Twilight, that I am saying the place right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is that the actual name? I was kind of doubting myself for a second. Yeah,
no, that's the name. Yeah.
So Forks, I feel like she understands that it looks dreary. It's always like cloudy. It's always
Twilight.
kind of it's drizzling, which makes total fucking sense why they're there. Because if you've seen the movie or read the books, when they hit sunlight, they twinkle. They twinkle. So
they twinkle.
It sounds like they're taking a piss or some shit. It's really weird.
Yeah. Oh Jesus!
Which I love how people say like, oh my god, the sparkle part in the film is really bad. I actually think it's done okay in Twilight. In the rest of the movies,
Yeah,
holy god, it's god awful.
and that's what they're talking about. I think that's the thing about this film is that it gets bundled together with the other crappy films, and there's 4 really crappy films and 1 good one.
Yeah,
So that just gets overshadowed by the shit of the other films. So it's like, dude, what can you say? You're not going to change people's mind about it. And I like giving it crap because, just William and I started a whole feud about it years ago. Or a couple of years ago now. But honestly, like, I thought it was a good movie. So yeah, I might be trolling him, but I think it is a good movie.
I don't think it's like anything Oscar worthy, but like
no,
it is
God, no.
in the Twilight cinematic universe. I definitely think that Twilight is a good movie. The other 4 dog shit.
What do you think are the best aspects of the film though? Like what was it that you enjoyed the most besides obviously like the production design of Forks itself?
I agree with you that I think the music is very well done. Like Bella's, I think it's Bella's Lullaby or Edward's Lullaby.
Oh, dude, yeah.
The one that he plays on the piano, which actually Robert Pattinson actually knows how to play the piano, so he played that.
Which he's a very underappreciated actor. Let's be honest, guys.
Yes,
like,
he really is.
Granted, in this film, he's supposed to be playing this kind of bland, dreary person. That's his character.
Favorite scene is when the when she walks in and then the fan hits or the air
smell,
and he's like, and like he like reels back. He's like, I love that shit so much. It's so cheesy, but it doesn't. It like knows that it's cheesy and it like just takes advantage of it. So good.
It works.
So good.
Again, it goes back to the film making of the actual film itself. There's talent behind that camera. When there's talent behind camera and passion into the project, then you're going to see a good product. That's the problem. The other films didn't have that passion put into it.
There are things also that like do look a bit cheesy, like when don't get me wrong, I really like the baseball sequence.
I thought that was well done.
But, like, the way that they run, I know it's trying to be, like, practical. It's like, you know what I would compare their running to is, like, when you watch Superman, when he's running right next to the train at the beginning.
The treadmill scene.
Thank you that you knew exactly where I was going with this, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is one of the things I couldn't stand about these films. I was like, huh? They're walking on like a carpet. What?
Yeah, it's like their legs are going way too fast, but like, how do you describe it? I guess they're going way too fast, but like in a very practical and like normal way.
Okay, so there's good ways to do that and bad ways.
Yeah,
this was the bad way.
Yes,
the good way was, you remember Blade when the vampires are doing the same thing. They do kind of this gliding sense. But in Twilight, they move their legs while they're gliding. And it kind of takes away from it. It's so distracting.
Isn't there a sequence, if I remember correctly, in Twilight where it's during the baseball game when the antagonist shows up, the 3 of them, Victoria and the 2 other guys.
They come across the hall. Yeah,
they're like gliding but walking in a normal fashion. It's so bad, man.
It's so distracting. It
like,
is so distracting. Just have them not move their legs whatsoever. And make it that fast motion blur thing of them moving really quick. Do that type of effect. You don't need to do this slow gliding where they're actually walking. It's like, huh?
It's so bad. I just remember like looking at that and being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why are they moving like that? It's like they're it's like, you know what it is? When you're going into one of the theme parks and you're on that on the treadmill thing. You know what you're talking about?
Yes.
And like you're walking at a at your normal pace, but since this thing is like kind of taking you at a faster pace than usual, it feels like you're walking like at like 10 miles per hour. Oh man, it reminds you of that. But
it really does. And the thing is, though, it's once you get past those and you actually enjoy the story for what it is and enjoy the film for what it is, I dare everybody to go. I dare you guys listening to this to go watch this film. Watch the first film and take off the inhibitions that you've had, the bullshit that you've heard, all the crazy, horrible stories that you've heard, and just watch it for what it is. It is a teenage love story. Watch it as that. And this film is a 7 out of 10 film. It's a good film.
Yeah.
It's not a great film,
no,
but it's a good film, especially for that genre. Now, it's not an Anne Rice film by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
It's like the last Blade movie, maybe, but that's the closest I could get to.
Oh, dude, Blade 1 is like the only good one.
Blade 1 and 2 were good. The third one, the Trinity one, was garbage. That's
the one with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel, right?
Yeah, that was just shit. But honestly, like it's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie. If you like teenage films, like 10 Things I Hate About You and all these cheesy films, Idle Hands, all those type of films, She's All That, you'll enjoy this film. God, that's the audience that they're aiming for.
That brings me back, dude. She's All That.
Hell yeah.
I remember watching that. Man. I remember watching that with my mom. That was a good time. It's funny when you brought up Blade. Immediately, the scene that I always think about when I hear Blade is the beginning of the first one.
Oh,
the rave.
Yes.
When they turn on the sprinklers and it's just blood.
Dude, that's
and all the vampires are just dancing in this rave. It's like, yo, this is lit.
Yeah,
it's super cool. But
that's how the Anne Rice novels are, dude.
Yeah, this is more like toned down. So
this is for kids.
Yeah,
this is like kids' version of.
It's like for teenagers. So if you want to have like something that doesn't hold back, like a novel or a movie, definitely go watch or read like Interview with the Vampire. Queen of the Damned.
If you like Korn, because that's the whole soundtrack.
Is Korn the entire soundtrack?
Oh yeah, that's Jonathan Davis the whole time.
For which one?
For Queen of the Damned.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, I don't think Interview with the Vampire is Korn.
No.
Okay. She died, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep. Right after that film too.
Was it a plane crash?
Yep.
Damn.
And there's this whole speculation. There's a whole conspiracy theory behind that.
Ooh, what's a conspiracy theory? Just like give me the like the spark notes of it.
That it was actually like the government shutting her down because she was actually trying to raise awareness about certain things that were going on and the African American community, all the stuff that was going on with the African American community, and the label paid for the airplane, and they never did before. They usually drove her around or paid for a commercial airline, and this was a private jet that they went on for the first time. And there was 2 people, her producer and somebody else, that was supposed to be on that same plane, and they weren't. They got off the plane right before it was about to take off. So there's a whole lot.
Cue the Twilight Zone music.
Yeah, exactly. There's this whole crazy conspiracy behind that.
I don't remember that movie very much.
Queen of the Damned?
Yeah, don't.
It's a decent movie. It's like a vampire music video.
Music video.
It honestly is. It's what it feels like. I don't think that it is anything like the Anne Rice book. It's really not. It's good. It has good acting in it, and it has fucking awesome music. But it feels like a long music video. It feels like what do you call it? 9 Inch Nails music video, continuously.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. I don't even. Is this streaming on anything? Like Queen of the. We should not name this like Twilight. Maybe you should name this Twilight with more vampires. Because we've talked
Twilight
about
or other vampire movies.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about everything under the sun and Twilight when it comes to vampires. Mostly Twilight, but still. So is Queen of the Damned like streaming on like Netflix or anything?
That's what I'm going to find out right now, because it used to be streaming on there.
I know Interview with the Vampire was on Netflix, but I'm not sure if Queen of the Damned is.
No, Queen of the Damned is not, but it was on there for the longest time.
Rip. All right, so closing statements, I guess, or do you want to bring anything else up about Twilight or any other vampire medium?
Honestly, I think this movie is good if you want to just have something with a date or sit down and do like a family night if the kids are like teenagers or something that they could enjoy, but also that you want to like move them up that next level type of thing in watching movies. You know, it's before that rated R, but you know, kind of that PG-13, safe PG-13. Minus the bestiality.
But before you show your children a movie where there's Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and they're basically getting prostitutes and killing them because they need to suck their blood. You know, so if you want like the happy medium, like before that, definitely watch the Twilight Saga, specifically the first one. The other ones are garbage.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the other ones, please. You really don't.
You're not missing much. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, just leave it as a one-off film, and it'll be good. It's a decent experience like that. You really don't need to do anything further than that, I think.
There you go.
All right, guys. Brandon, what rating do you give this?
I'd agree, like a 7. It's a good film in Twilight standards, but it's not a great film. It's enjoyable, and coming from I guess you could call me a fan of the books, because I won't lie to you, I enjoyed the books. You know,
what would you give the books rating wise?
Oh shit.
I'd probably go with a 7 out of 10 too. Books in general.
I'd probably like bump up the books, like I guess because you know a book is always better than the movie because you get more information and stuff like that.
I don't think that was the case in this though. Like the first one definitely, but I think the first one like it's parallel with the book. I think it's right up there with it.
A fun fact, I don't know if you know this, I'll give you my rating, but fun fact, did you know that she released a book where it takes place in the 1920s and it's reversed? That
no.
Bella is a boy and Edward is a woman?
No, I didn't know that.
And yeah, it's the same thing, except their sexes are reversed, and it takes place, I think, in like the 1920s, or let me look it up.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
and fun fact for any of those that didn't know, what the hell's the name of that crappy series that came out after this?
Which crappy?
Oh my
series?
god, the freaking horrible series that came out of Twilight.
50 Shades of Grey. It was a fan fiction of
that's right.
Twilight.
There you go.
Yeah,
you see, it's that bad that I block it out of my mind that it exists in the world because it's that bad.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction of Twilight, but I guess for legal purposes, the author decided, is it a man or a woman?
I don't know. But it's just badly written. Like, really badly written. It's
yeah. 50, oh shit.
50 Shades of Grey, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so for legal purposes, the E.L. James, it's a woman. She changed the names, of course, of the characters to Anastasia or whatever, and to whatever the guy's name is. And
it's like somebody's been watching too many Disney movies or something. They
I don't know, man. So my mom was reading. She borrowed 50 Shades of Grey, and I was like, I want to see how bad this is. Not that I read it, but like I kind of skimmed through it, and man, oh baby, it's bad.
Dude, I tried to read the first like 5 pages, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's really bad. Like it's as if somebody got like a fan fiction off the internet, but it was just really bad. Because there's some fan fictions that are really well written.
And like I've been told by friends that actually read the whole series just out of sheer curiosity. Mm-hmm. They didn't buy it, but they rented it at a library or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, there's so many grammatical errors in the book itself.
Interesting.
And I'm like, really? It didn't get cut by the publisher?
Yeah, the publisher didn't catch the errors.
Not.
That's funny.
But she was like, dude, there's a lot. And I was like,
it's
leave
just
it to you to find grammatical errors in it.
It's not even about the grammatical errors. I remember reading and I'm like, the sex scenes are really awkward. The dialogue is really fucking awkward.
Well, have you ever seen the movies?
No, I actually have not. Have you?
Dude. Yeah, I saw the first one and I was like, no. It was all thanks to John that we had to watch it at Cinema Schlock Society.
Oh, you watched it with John. Interesting.
Yeah, that was one of our Cinema Schlocks.
All right. So yeah, that's our thoughts on Twilight. Of course, if you enjoyed our show, catch our other shows and also visit manbitesfilm.com, diversitygeek.org, and also John over at Narcotic Casserole on YouTube. Hey, I got it right this time, Lewis. Look at me.
Yes, you did. And
Look
also,
at me.
by the way,
Yes.
John at Narcotic Casserole will be available now through the Man Bites Media podcast platforms.
Nice. He's part of the family. Like,
he's
legitimately
part of the family.
part of the family.
He's not that evil brother or anything.
He's not the stepbrother. That's funny.
Yeah,
All right.
that's right.
So, thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Brandon.
As always, I am Brandon, and keep those candles on for next time.
And those bath salts.